Hello again, this is Carol King, the founder of Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing and full accounting software. In this video, I'm going to start in on an overview of what change orders are and sort of pull back in a general overview of how CHS handles change orders, how they show up on the estimated cost at completion, and most importantly, how you set up for your best change order printouts and agreements with the home buyer. So first of all, let's talk for just a minute about what change orders are, and I'm going to jump over to a Wikipedia thing about change orders. And I think I like it down here. It says a change order is work that is added to or deleted from the original scope of work of a contract. Depending on the magnitude of the change, it may or may not alter the original contract amount and/or completion date. A change order may force a new project to handle significant changes to the current project. Now I'm going to jump down here. A project manager then typically generates a change order that describes the new work to be done, or not done in some cases, and the price to be paid for this new work. Once this change order is submitted and approved, it generally serves to alter the original contract such that the change order now becomes part of the contract. Now what I'd like you to notice is it says up here, a change order is work that is added to or deleted from the original scope. In CHS, I'd like you to know that you can not only add change orders, but you can add some that are a minus amount change orders or a credit that's lowering the price of the original contract. And we'll see that in some of our videos about doing a credit for a change order. And also I'd like to point out that CHS not only has a place for you to enter the price of the change order to the home buyer, you will also be estimating the cost of the change order cost and see how that affects your original budget, adding the change order cost to it to do a revised budget. So that's just a brief description of change orders. Various builders have different definitions of change orders, and I'd like you to watch our seminar video that's at the top of the list of the help for change orders, because I address what the difference between a change order is and perhaps an allowance or option, as some people call it, and how CHS handles it if you have a cost code that you mark as an allowance, like maybe appliances, and you tell the home buyer that if they go over the allowances, you're going to be charging them an amount for the overage. Now, if you issue a change order for that, in addition to CHS calculating the overage on an allowance, it turns out that you could accidentally be double dipping, but not in CHS. If you issue a change order for an allowance cost code and you do your allowance over-unders to show the buyer, you'll see that if there's been a change order for it, it's going to adjust the allowance down, and then the change order is going to be added to the contract. I know that's a mouthful, but I just wanted to say all of that up front for an overview. So let's jump back to Custom Home Builder Solutions. What I'd like to start out with is something that you need to set up that's called change order styles. The styles affect what shows up on the printout that you show the home buyer. So if you look over here and you see COs, you might be tempted to go here, and then you might be tempted to click change orders. But notice that it says it's recommended that the jobs dashboard will allow you to quickly open it, and that you can avoid this pop-up message if you just open the active jobs dashboard, which is up here. However, it does give you the option to go to the change orders menu, because that's something that you can use to review lists and summaries of change orders for all jobs. When you're on the active jobs dashboard, you're selecting a job at a time and being able to do all sorts of things about that job, like look at actual costs or issue purchase orders and issue change orders, etc., all for one job, and stay on the dashboard. Most of the time, don't overlook this at the top left of the menu, so that you don't need to be drilling down. You can get right to the active jobs dashboard. But I am going to go to the change orders menu right now for just a second. I'd like to talk about setting up change order styles real quickly before we get too far into change orders. And by styles, let's take a look at them. You're going to see here that this also has PO styles, warranty styles, WO, but we set up a style called CO. Now, you can set up as many styles as you like and select the style before you do a change order printout. but we do just have one right here. You could add a new report style, and we did, and we said CO, and we submitted it so that we had the style. Then you can set up or edit the style, and when you first do it, these things will be blank. So we decided we want at the top of our change order printouts for it to say change order. But if you don't like the words change order, you can put something else here. And then after we did it, we highlighted over it, we centered it, we made it bold, and we also made it 24 point in size when we did that. I won't get you all bored by typing all that. Now this part down here is what's called the main body. Now when you do change order printouts and you have done some various cost lines for that change order, and you've written some notes for that the various lines, those will be on the change orders, but at the end of all that, the main body will have whatever text that you put here. Now what I'd like to tell you, if you haven't noticed already, is that you should not put some lines for builder signature or home buyer signature here in the main body, because on all the change order printouts, CHS will add those lines for you, because a home buyer or a builder can sign online their signature. CHS is adding the signature lines to the bottom. So if you're an older CHS customer and you happen to be watching this and you set up some styles before we had the builder and buyer signing online, you may have done some builder and buyer lines right here, just to be blank so that you could print out the copy of it, print it out, and then sign it. But I'd like to say don't include that here, because CHS is going to be putting those lines on for you when you do the printout. If you'd like to see how this all looks, you can preview it. You see how your change order comes out. You can see that on our change order printouts, if you've uploaded a logo on your company master, it'll be over here. This is where the data for your report will be. So all those lines and notes about the lines and the amounts of the lines, etc., and the price of the change order. And then this is where the main body will be towards the end. And then CHS will, after that, put in some signature lines when you do a printout. So you can preview how that all looks and do some changes, and then submit your changes if you need to. So like I said, you can set up some different styles, maybe something you're doing with change orders that's called something else, so you could add another style. And before you print a change order, you will select the style that you're printing. So also on the change orders menu, there's other things you don't get on the dashboard, because it can show you all kinds of things about change orders for all of your jobs. So you can see that this is change orders summary, which shows all the estimated costs of the approved ones and of the unapproved ones, and those are in red so that you can distinguish that. So I'd like to mention that approved means that the builder has approved it to show up on the estimated cost at completion, the estimated cost there, to put it into production, etc., etc. That's what that means. These are ones that have been created just to show the home buyer an unapproved one that hasn't been agreed to yet, and how it will affect the contract price, etc. So when you create a new change order, it asks for approved yes or no, and that's what gets separated here. You can see it showing all kinds of stuff about the cost you estimated, the price to the customer, total payments from the customer that you can drill down on, and the balance that's outstanding on those change orders based on that. The other one is COs and payments database records, more detail about the records of each change order, and it'll be an order of jobs as you scroll. But you can search for a particular job and see that one, or search for various ones that have certain titles, all kinds of things to do searching on, and you need to watch the tips about searching. And then you'll get this big database to narrow down. But what it's showing here is like, here's a testing one we did. And then here's where there was a couple of payments we applied to it just for whatever reason. Here's one that doesn't have a payment, so there's still a total here. But this totals to 0 because we had a change order and we had a payment. You'll see some other payments here, like this one for DeGroot, an old job of his. Here's all the change order lines for this one change order that was numbered this by him in an old job, and the total of those lines. Here's some of our more current ones, but you can just go ahead and see ones that have balances and ones that don't, etc., and search for ones like that. So that's one reason to come to the change orders menu, is to get summaries of all jobs. But what I'd like to do is go home, and I click to the active jobs dashboard, and I'm on the jobs dashboard for the job that we did in our seminar video, and you should go ahead and watch that video. I'll be doing a little more detail about all of that in this series of videos I'm doing for CHS users. It's not really a part of that seminar. But what I'd like to jump to is change orders approved for this particular job that we actually did create in that seminar video. And I'd like to drill down on this particular change order so that I see all the lines that were created for this change order. Now notice it's in 4 lines, and that's because 4 different cost codes were needed to be chosen. One for the roofing of the patio, the framing materials, the frame labor, and the slab. So you'll see cost codes, and that there's just one approved change order right now. And you can see how they were estimating the cost, marking it up 25%, and that the price is this $18,656 total, but the estimated cost is $14,925. Now I'd like you to see how that shows up on the estimated cost at completion, which I clicked right here, and I've already opened it. If you've seen other videos about this ECC worksheet, you'll see the original budget coming in from when you did the budget. Then you'll see a column for change orders, and then that change order is added to the original budget to say total budget, or it could be called revised budget. I know, but we really, when you do a change order and estimate the cost, that's like little mini budgets going on for change orders that are affecting the contract. And if you look down here, you see a total of the change orders. What you will notice is all of this is the cost amount, not the price to the customer, because this is estimated costs at completion, your estimated cost. So if I drill down on the total for change orders down here, you can see those 4 lines, the estimated cost and the price if you want to. And you can see how those total to $14,925, and that it's all for one particular change order if you look here at the change order number that's going on above these. But they show up in different lines, not on one line, because you are estimating the cost for different areas of the job. So that's why it's like that. If you drill down on the slab contract one, you'll see just the line for that and the profit for just that. And you can see that it's connected to Lubman 2 change order. But this is one of the lines on the change order, so that it's brought in to show how slab contract is going to change because of the change order. Now if you go across this line and you drill down on the POs, you can see down here, change order PO, variance PO of 2,000, a budgeted PO from your original budget, and here's a change order PO for 4,600. But the total of those POs is 36,592. If you look at the ECC and you look at the total budget, you can see that the POs are less than the total budget altogether, and that you're going under by 4520. If you want to drill down and see why those POs and stuff are coming out to so much less than your original budget, you can get a clue that Glennet Big Buck agreed to charge $11.50 per slab instead of $14, so that brought it down quite a bit. So in this case, the builder has checkmarked to use the total of the POs, because he could look at them by drilling down on them, as the ECC. That's what this checkmark means. If the POs are less than your total budget, then you don't want this amount to be over there as the ECC. You want the POs, because that's what you know is all you're going to spend. So your estimated cost at completion gets changed by CHS to that. Notice what happens if I undo that. Then all of a sudden your ECC jumps to what your total budget is, and when I check mark it, your ECC becomes the amount of the POs. Now we've already done a bunch of actual costs for this ongoing thing in our various videos, and you can drill down on them and you can see for the 400 square foot patio, for the additional for soil, blah blah blah, you can see that you've paid everything you're going to pay, and for some reason you're a couple hundred under what the POs were. But you can check mark that the actual costs are done and that there won't be any more costs. And now your ECC has changed to the amount of the actual costs. I keep emphasizing things about the ECC, but I also wanted to most importantly show you that it's approved by builder change orders that show up here. And I go back to the jobs dashboard and I go to not approved change orders. We have one that hasn't been checkmarked as approved that we'll drill down on, that has to do with sidewalk and surrounding landscape. Now in my videos following this, I'm going to talk about this particular change order. But notice builder approved no, and over on the ECC, see these cost codes 6323 and 6110. We'll go back to the ECC. And let's look and see if those cost codes are here. Look down the side as I'm going down the side here. Those 63 and 61, they don't even show up here on the estimated cost at completion. Now, if we go approve that change order, and let's go back to the change orders, the jobs dashboard, and let's go back to the unapproved, not approved by the builder, and let's drill down, and let's go ahead and say we've discussed all of these, and we're going to approve this CO by the builder, which is going to be me. Just do this pretty fast, Carol King or something. Commit, submit, and then your builder signature has been saved, but a hard copy of the change order was not found to update with the signature. And that's fine. You don't have to have a hard copy. It's just letting you know that the signature of your approval is here now. So that means it is now builder approved. If you close this, it won't be on this list of unapproved change orders anymore, and it will be on the list of approved change orders. See that here? Now Lubman 2 with the sidewalk is in the approved, and let's see what happened to that ECC if we refresh it. Suddenly, if we go on down here, you're going to see that we have plant landscaping and that there's no budget for it, but there is a change order line for it, the change order costs that we could drill down on and see that line that we were just looking at, and you can see what we charged for that. And you see the sidewalk turnkey here, these two things. You can see what change order, it's Lubman 2 change order it's connected to, and that our ECC is changing by all the change orders. If you look at the total of the change orders, and you see the various cost codes and what change orders those are related to. So you can see that total 2925, but it's by line because we are a job costing program and we need to compare our costs all the way across the line. So I wanted to give you an overview of all that so you could get a big picture of how change orders are affecting the estimated cost at completion if they're approved. If they're not approved yet by the builder, they will not be affecting that. And the home buyer can open their portal and click on either approved or not approved by the builder. Now we will be going over that in some more detail, but we also went over it in the seminar video that is available at the top of the list of the videos about change orders. So hopefully that kind of gives you a good overview of what CHS is doing and how change orders are impacting your estimated cost of completion every single day and how instantly you are able to see those.